What if I were to tell you that we've got grief all wrong? This is what today's live stream is about. So, first of all, if you have had contact with someone from the other side, if you believe you have, whether you've confirmed it or not, could you let us know in the comments here later or right now? Because here's the deal that we're going to talk about today, right? Our loved ones don't die, just their body drops and their consciousness remains, right? We can communicate with them, we can experience them, but it begins by understanding what grief really is, okay? Because there's a nuance to it that mediums don't even talk about. At least I haven't heard any of them talk about it. But we're going to talk about it today. Not only that, but at the end of today's session, I'm going to lead you through a healing, a guided experience to connect with your loved one, or a guide if you prefer to connect with a spirit guide, because this is what I do. This is what I've been doing, well, connecting people with guides for like 30 years. But as far as connecting people with their loved ones, that's about the past 4 years or so. Okay, so today we're going to help you make that contact. But first, I want to explain why, when someone crosses, does it hurt so much? Okay, because it's not what you may think it is. Okay, we're gonna unpack this today, and I hope you walk away from this understanding that next time, if you are grieving, if you're still in the midst of that, that you'll take a moment to tune into it, because you might actually be able to turn that grief into a profound experience of love. Yes, love, because we are misinterpreting what this immense emotion is. So, to illustrate that, I want to share my story, because I didn't know this was possible when my husband, Alan, passed away in 2020. And then the very next day began to connect with me. First, it was through emotion. First, it was through this feeling of immense love. But here is how I experienced it. So, of course, I'm sitting there day after he transitioned in deep grief, feeling bereft, feeling just broken. And when I thought of those thoughts that he's gone, of course, I felt incredibly sad. And yet, when I paused for a moment, because you can't feel something 24/7, it's actually impossible. But when I paused for a moment, I felt this love, this immense love come in. And I knew I wasn't making it up, because I'm just thinking that he's dead. Okay, so why would I feel love all of a sudden? I'm not focused on that. It just hit me out of the blue. Okay. He said to me, it was like the tide would go out, meaning like I'd stop thinking that he's gone, and then he could come in on the next wave, so to speak, right? His love could come in, and I'd feel these love blasts. That's what I call them. This just heart, my heart would just like open so wide, and I'd feel this energy, and I'd feel this tingles and chills, and so much love would wash over me. Okay, but again, I thought, really, this doesn't make sense. Like, he's gone, right? Like, he's dead in my mind. And even though I've worked with spirit world for 30, now going 38 years, and I've had experiences with the other side, with loved ones on the other side, I didn't know that they can indeed connect with us not only right after they transition, but for as long as we're open to it. Like, there's no limit. Okay. Now, first of all, I want to explain that that may not be everyone's path. In fact, the more I teach this work, the more I've come to understand that most people, at least right now, are not going to pursue this. They're not ready for that. It takes a certain kind of person to really dive into exploring this, if you will, because it takes somebody who's a bit determined and is also open-minded and is not have a strong physical logical mind that's arguing for their limitations, like, oh, you can't do this is crazy, like, what are people going to think? The people that I work with tend to be people, for the most part, that at least have learned to not care what other people think and have learned to trust their intuition, their own sense of what's right for them, and this is really important, trust their loved one on the other side, and have usually had some sort of experience with them. Okay. But in the early days, yes, people often say how intense the grief is. And I just thought, okay, this is just how it is, right? They've transitioned and the grief is heaviest in the early days, months. For some people, it can even be years, because some people, their grief is just like a weight around them that they can't shift. But here's what I've come to understand from that first day after Alan transitioned, and I felt all this love come in, right? What I learned was when I felt moved, like deeply moved, the love would come in. And if I was thinking negatively, like thinking a thought, for example, oh, you're gone, I'm never going to see you again, or anything that was negative or limiting, any belief or thought like that, okay, I would turn that love that he was beaming to me into my understanding of grief. Because I want you to think about this for a moment. When we're deeply moved emotionally, like we brought to tears over something that's so beautiful, so incredible, like if you're the kind of person that cries at weddings, right? You understand what I'm talking about, right? You're not sad when you're at a wedding, whether it's your own or somebody else's. You are just moved, right? You're just touched. That is how their love comes through to us. Their love is so pure because it's unconditional, and it's going to make you cry. Like, how could it not make you cry unless you're completely shut down emotionally? But the thing is, where the confusion is that there's your thoughts that are negative, again, like limiting, thinking, well, you're gone, I'm never going to see you again, that's it for us, so it's over, right? Those thoughts, of course, they're going to make you feel sad. How could they not? They make you feel sad because it's a lie. Your emotional guidance system, which everyone has, is giving you ready feedback as to whether your thoughts, your beliefs are in alignment with your higher self, which is your soul, whether that's true. And the reason that idea of separation tears you apart is because it's a lie. You can't lose them. Consciousness exists forever. But you could believe, because of your programming, that death is permanent. Because walk out your door right now, most people you ask are going to say, oh, yeah, death is the end. It's over. They may debate with you whether there's an afterlife. Some might believe in that, some might not, right? But in their mind, it's like they're gone. Hey, it's over. You're not going to hear from them. You're not going to see from them. That is done. Full stop, done. Okay. That thought, when you think it, it will always make you feel terrible because it's a lie. It's false. Just like any limiting belief that you hold. Let's say if you start thinking about yourself, I'm a terrible person, I'm never going to amount to much, I'm just never going to get anywhere in life. Those thoughts will make you feel bad because, again, those are lies. Those are negative beliefs that must trigger a negative emotional response within you. But that's only because they're false. You're adapting a very negative viewpoint about yourself. And in this case, if you believe or hold the thought for a moment of separation, of loss, you will feel devastated because it's your higher self letting you know that's not true. Open your mind, okay? Think differently. When you start to do that, or even if you just get into a neutral state, because we get it, like your loved one just transitioned, hard to feel happy. We're not asking you to feel happy. We're just saying at some point you will get into a place of neutrality. Okay, not happy, but neutral, where you're not really happy, but you're not devastated either. You're kind of feeling, in a way, empty, okay? But it's not negative, it's not positive, neutral. When you at least feel neutral, which is what I felt that day after Alan transitioned, in between my thoughts of grief that made me feel terrible, I felt neutral. When I was in that neutral state, and if you get into that neutral state, you can feel their love. However, if you feel this immense love and your logical mind goes into thinking, oh, but they're dead, you're going to invert that love into grief. All right. So, in other words, there's two kinds of grief. One is the grief that you create through your thoughts and beliefs in loss, separation, that they're gone, that it's over. Yes, that's a lie, and it's always going to feel terrible. It will never, ever make you feel good or even neutral. You will always have a negative emotional response because it's a lie. Now, if you feel neutral, you're not happy that their transition, nobody's expecting you to be happy about it, but you're neutral, meaning you're at peace with it. Okay. Then your loved one, who, by the way, the spirit world has told me, are always pouring their love on us, especially after they've transitioned, because they so want to let us know that, hey, I'm not dead. I'm right here. What are you crying about? I'm still with you. I don't have to leave unless you want me to, unless you shut down, unless you close off. I don't need to move on. Okay. I can be with you. I can communicate with you. You can feel me. You can hear me. You can see me. Okay. We can have a spiritual relationship that is just as extraordinary, just as beautiful, just as fulfilling on all levels as when they were physical. Okay. It's just different. Different doesn't mean less, right? Doesn't mean inferior. Different, folks. Different is just different. Different isn't negative. You could decide it is, but then that would be you just choosing to believe that a spiritual connection after someone has crossed is inferior. But I'll tell you, there are people that I work with, some of them watching here right now, that may be commenting in the live chat, or maybe will comment below on the video later, who'll let you know they're continuing their relationships across the veil. Not only that, those relationships that they're forging are helping them evolve, become more spiritually aware, become their true authentic selves. Okay. So I want you to hold that thought that, okay, there's the grief that I create. I got to own that. Like that's through my thinking because I didn't know any better, because I'm surrounded by people who convince me that death is the end, that's permanent, right? Who don't believe in life after death. But if you're open to it, right, even a little open to it, saying, okay, let me see where this goes, right? Let me see what happens. Then I would invite you, and we're going to lead you into this in a bit. I would invite you to, if you feel the grief come in, okay, especially if in that moment you're not thinking any negative limiting thought like, oh, you're gone, it's all over. You're really kind of neutral, right? But if you feel all of a sudden emotion come up, strong emotion come up, pause, and tune in to see whether that's actually their love, because their love will make you cry. But your logical mind will jump in. It's so fast. It wants to determine what is that, and it will decide, well, that must be because they're dead. That emotion, that intense emotion. But again, that their love could bring you to tears. This happens to me like often. And I'm not grieving. I'm 5 years out of Alan's transition, and I see him all the time, and I hear him constantly, and I feel him energetically. And so I know that this is real, that he's here. And so I don't have grief. I don't know what that is. I can't conjure it even if I tried. But I still, on an almost daily basis, cry from the depth of his love that sweeps in because I'm open to it. I want you to understand that the main way that they actually want to connect with us is emotionally. Emotionally. Okay. This is powerful because you cannot fake emotion. If I told you right now, okay, feel happy, especially if you're grieving, I mean, that's going to be tough if you're grieving. Like, what are you going to do? Think about some memory that made you happy before? It's tough. You can't just bring it out of you out of nowhere. If that was possible, then people wouldn't need antidepressants. Come on. People wouldn't need to medicate, right? They go, oh, I'm just going to get into a happy space. This is not something you can fake. And that's why when you feel this love come in and you feel this deep emotion come in when you're not thinking something, I want you to at least hold out a possibility in your mind that that is a spirit connecting with you, your loved one. It could be a guide, but usually it's going to be, it's personal like that, and it's really emotional like that. It's going to be a loved one. Okay. So I want you to, at least if you want to experience this, just be open to that and going, okay, I'm gonna see what this is. That's all you have to do. Be open to it. Okay. So, and also what Spirit's telling me is, please, 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 everybody, trust your own inner knowing. Okay. You have been conditioned out of trusting yourself by society, by your parents, by teachers, by other people. Okay. You need to trust what you're perceiving. You are an aspect of creation connected to your higher self, which is connected to your soul. You're getting constant feedback and guidance from this broader part of you. You need to start trusting your own instincts over what anybody says, over what I say, over what anybody says. I don't care who they are. You need to own your power. Okay, this is the time of awakening, which means people are meant to claim their sovereign, state as a soul. Okay, this whole anti-woke culture is just BS. I'm sorry. You're meant to wake up. Like, what's the alternative? Go to sleep? Stay asleep? How stupid is that? This idea that being woke is a negative? Come on, it's the antithesis of negative. It's growth, it's evolution, it's what we're headed for. But much of society is fighting against it. Okay. But if you want to transcend your grief and turn it into love, you've got to at least hold out the possibility, be open minded to explore it without fear, right? Without insisting on evidence out the gate. The other side can and will give you evidence. Your loved one can give you evidence. I've gotten it over and over and over, and I've worked with people who say the same. They've got so much evidence, but it starts with you believing. Believing opens the door. Disbelief shuts the door. Okay? It's the cynics out there, the skeptics and the cynics out there who say, well, prove it to me first. Okay, but really, they don't want to change their worldview. people like that, they're like, no, I'll believe it, when I see it. When the law of creation is really more along the lines of you'll see it only if you believe it, because your beliefs create the opening. Your beliefs create the connection. If you don't believe, you're basically saying, I don't want this. I don't believe in it, don't want it. Okay? If you really don't believe in something, it cannot manifest. Enough people have studied The Secret, which kind of really simplified laws of creation, but still, that's what it is. You get back, right? Whatever you put out. Or you can say what you put out is what you get back. If you believe in something, you get back what you believe in. If you don't believe in something, you don't get that. Because the universe matches your beliefs, your frequency, your predominant thoughts and processes, all of that. Okay. You are living in a bubble reality of your creation. So if you want to, again, turn your grief into love, the only way to do that is to choose to believe that that is possible. Choose to believe in whatever you believe you are experiencing from someone across the veil. If you have an experience that seems unusual, let's just say unusual, I'm just going to use that word. It could be very paranormal, it could be very subtle, but something strange happens and the thought comes into your mind, I think that's my loved one. Okay. That thought, I can 99% promise you, is coming from your higher self, not your logical mind. I say this to you with genuine confidence because your physical mind doesn't believe that could be them. Physical mind doesn't believe in the afterlife. It's programmed to only believe in the physical world. So, from its perspective, any unusual activity, let's say of you perceiving your loved one after they transition, but some people do, right? They see their loved one physically or even feel them, like touch them or hug them. But the physical mind doesn't know what to do with that. It won't, it's certainly not going to say to you, drop a thought into your mind like, oh, that could be my husband. That thought, my friend, if it comes to you like that could be your husband or your wife or your child or whoever, that message is coming from your higher self. And it's telling you the truth. And you know it's telling you the truth because that thought feels good. How could that thought not feel good? Unless you've got a conflicting thought like a fear about the afterlife, that's a different story. But if you're open and you don't have fear, you can trust what just drops into your mind. So it's important, again, that you first believe. And why not? What do you have to lose except your grief? Right? What do you have to gain except connection, reunion through the veil, your spiritual development? What I mean by that is you become who you are authentically. Your intuition skyrockets because connecting with someone who's in the spirit world is very similar to connecting with a spirit guide, and it's going to help you evolve. It's going to raise your vibration because by blending with them, engaging with them, you are going to raise your frequency. You're going to, in some way, many people can heal emotionally, physically. Okay, there's all kinds of benefits, no negatives from this. Okay, unless you choose to create it, unless you choose to come at it with fear, then you will manifest the negative outcome. The experience itself is neutral. The experience itself is natural because they're not dead. Energy, once created, cannot be destroyed. And consciousness lives on, right? It's just energy that's now withdrawn from physical reality, from a physical body, but it still exists as consciousness and can engage across the veil through thought that comes into our minds, through even external voices that they can sometimes project, okay, through physical sensation like tingles, chills, even physical touch, right? They cannot be physical like 3D. That's not possible, but they can appear briefly and then be gone because it takes a lot of energy to do that, okay? But all of that is possible when you open up spiritually, when you have an open mind at least. So it's like what Danny just said here. They drop their egos when they pass and become unconditional love, and that's really important to understand. Right. They're now really the essence of unconditional love. Now, that's not saying they're perfect, okay? Because they're still growing. They're still evolving. But they're at a higher frequency because you have to be because they're on in the what's called the fifth dimension. Okay, they're not in this fourth dimension. So by definition, they've dropped their negative ego. They still have a personality ego so that you can remember identify them, right? Otherwise you'd go, who are you? Like this being is talking to you that has a different personality. No, they still have that, but they don't have the negative ego, the insecurities, right? The fears, limiting beliefs. They're not holding on to anything that was traumatic, okay? But they're in a higher state, okay? But they're not enlightened. There is kind of no such thing in the true sense of that word. We just continue to evolve and grow, become more, right? Um, Let me see. Liesel says, yes, just like my husband is with me all the time. All I have to do is talk to him. Absolutely. I'm so glad you shared that. I wish people would understand this is not difficult. Once you get past your limiting belief, then again, that opens the door. And the spirit world can connect with you, whether it's your guide, your angels, your loved one, any love of your loved ones on your side. I talk to other loved ones besides Alan, not constantly. It's as needed or as I reach out to them. But you are part of that spirit world while you're in a body, my friends. So this is the most natural thing. Once you accept this possibility, which then opens the door to you experiencing them, which then starts giving you experiences, and then what happens, which is very, very healing and transformative, is you're creating new memories with them. This takes time, however, okay, because you remember what your relationship was before, and your tendency is going to be to focus on the past, but they're not there in the past, they're right here. And they're wanting to create new memories with you. But they can't do that if you're just dwelling on loss and the past and go looking for them in your memories of the past and then lament the fact that you can't feel them. And the reason you can't feel them when you go into your memories right now, when you're grieving, later will be different. But the reason you can't feel them is because of your belief that they're gone. That's what's blocking you from feeling them, plus the fact that they're right here. You're right here. So when you stop and think about the past, you're no longer focused right here. Are you? I challenge you right now to be completely focused on what I'm saying right now to you. At the same time, be fully focused on the past. You can't do it. Your mind cannot serve two masters. You're either going to be focused on the past, as I suggested, or listening to me. You can't. You can't. Your spirit can, but you in a body, you can't. You're here to focus right here, right now. What's in front of you here, that's all you can do for a reason. So if you want to experience your loved one, which I'm going to lead you to do in just a bit, hang in there with me. You want to be fully present right here, right now. Okay. And if your thoughts stray to the past or the future, because that's the only places it can go, right? No other place, either in the past or in the future. If you corral your thoughts and keep them right here, you can experience them because there's only now. You can't really experience them in the past. In a way, you can, but you're experiencing the past in the present, if you know what I mean, because you can't go there. You can't physically like go there and not be here anymore. So you're just kind of time traveling in your mind to the past, but you're not really there because you're here experiencing, perceiving the past, right? And it's not the same as experiencing a loved one where they are right now, because all they are is here right now. They're not in the past because that's over, and they're not in the future yet because that's yet to be. So if you want connection, be focused on the now. If your thoughts stray into fear, negativity, like they're gone, or I can't do this, everybody else can do this, but I'll be the only one that can't do it, just drop it. Just tell yourself, no, that's not true. Even if you're not sure, it doesn't matter. Because if you say to yourself, that's not true, your body believes you. You are creating it simply because you declared it. But that's not true. I can do this. You don't have to be 100% convinced. You just need to be determined enough to state it, declare it, and keep declaring it, and not really care what anybody thinks or whatever's happening now. You're just going to keep saying it. You say it often enough, the universe has to deliver that to you. That is one of the laws of creation. What you put out is what you get back. You keep saying that, it has to come, right? Like Donna saying her husband Les, who's in spirit, is always telling her to stay in the now. When her mind would wander and go again to the past, to the future, and go, stay here now. Alan was always saying that to me, like, Pam, I'm here. Danny says, how I've been there. I did think I might be the only one who couldn't do this. I've heard Pam say that too many times, to believe it anymore. Right, like, how can you be the only one in all of creation? If you believe you can't do it, then okay, then you can't do it. But that's all that it is. It's just your belief that you can't do it. All right, so let's get you connected, okay? And I want you to come back to this exercise if tomorrow or in 5 minutes from now, whatever it is, you feel grief. Okay, this is really for the people who are still grieving. I want you to lean into this exercise I'm going to lead you into and see if you can tune into the love that is really there and understand, see the difference between, oh, I'm thinking this negative thought. Of course, I feel bad. But if I pause and leave space, be neutral, can I feel love? Can I feel this emotion come in? And when you feel that, not if, when you feel that, resist the urge, right, to believe that that's grief. And instead, if you feel the emotions, say, oh, that's your love. Thank you. Because that's true. So if you claim that experience of deep emotion, which is love, then you will start to transform your grief into love. Okay. But let's guide you to experience, okay? Because words don't really teach. Experience is what teaches people. Words are just words. Experience is louder than words. So I'm going to have Alan bring in your loved ones because he works with me like that on the other side. It's been confirmed by so many mediums that Alan is working with loved ones who are wanting to connect with their loved ones here in a body. As long as we are open to it, then the other side will do their best to come through. Okay, but if we're not open to it, Why should they bother? There's no point, right? There's no point. They can come through to anybody, but the person in the body has to at least be receptive, has to at least be open to it, because otherwise, again, there's no point. It's just a waste of time, and they know that they're going to see you when you transition yourself. So they're not really worried. It's just whether you want this. Right. So close your eyes, get comfortable wherever you are. If you're driving, please turn this off. You don't want to be driving. We tend to put people into a bit of a trance state, so we don't want anybody to get hurt. But get comfortable. Okay. And I want you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a second, then exhale through your mouth. Let it all go. Let all the breath go. Take another breath in and breathe out through your mouth. We'll let go of all your stress, any negativity that you've been holding on to, any limiting beliefs, anybody's energies that you're hanging on to. Take another breath in, exhale, and let it all go. Release everything and anything that doesn't belong to you. Let it go. Take another breath in. Once more, release, release, release. And feel yourself getting lighter. Take another breath in. Exhale, and this time on the exhale, expand your energy field 3 feet around you, in front, to the right, to the left, behind you, above you, and below you. Just expand your energy. You're doing this to just be able to feel what's in your space. Okay? There's nothing special you need to do to achieve this. It just happens when you say, this is what you want. This is how powerful you are. So again, feel your energy expand. You might begin to sense other energies or even other beings around you. Some of you are very sensitive and becoming more sensitive every day, by the way. So you may be perceiving subtle energies or very intense energies or beings. Trust it all. Nothing in your space is negative unless you are harboring a lot of negativity. Then it's just going to be a reflection of you. And even then, if there was something, quote, unpleasant that you're going to encounter, you can change that because it's an illusion of your creation. You are always safe. You always have dominion and control over your experience, right? You are the power, the force that runs your life. Don't forget that. So again, expand your energy. And as you do that, invite in your loved one, who, by the way, is already here. It's just about you opening up to perceive them more. Okay. So you might just begin to notice that they've already been with you, but invite them into your field. Invite them in closer to you. And again, you're only doing this so that you'll be more aware. So I want you to imagine or even ask yourself in your mind, what would it be like if I could feel my loved ones unconditional love. What would that be like? What would that look like? Would that feel like emotionally, energetically, physically? What would that sound like if I heard them? When you ask the universe an open-ended question, it always answers. So trust the next thing that you experience. Don't discount it. Don't analyze it. Be okay with it. If you believe you're not experiencing anything, just relax. Just relax. What do you see, feel, hear, imagine? What comes into your mind? Comes into your awareness? Do you get a word? Do you get a symbol? Does an idea come to you? It might not make any sense. In fact, at times, the more nonsensical it is, the more it is evidence of the other side. So just trust your experience. Open your heart to feel their love for you. If you start getting emotional, be sure you're not thinking any thoughts of loss or separation. Be sure you're not thinking any negative, limiting thought. And just let yourself feel whatever you're feeling. The easiest thing for a spirit to do is to project their love and their words. Now, the words may not come as words you hear in your mind or hear externally. It may come as direct knowing, where you just get the message in your mind like it just shows up. Okay? Please understand that, again, this is the most natural way for the spirit world to communicate with humanity, with people in a body. It's happened from the beginning of time because we are all consciousness, and consciousness can communicate. And they find it easier to put the thoughts in our mind because even if we believe there are thoughts, the thoughts, when they're positive and useful, they understand that we may be using them in a positive way. So it will help us. And this is why spirit will plant ideas into people's minds, because they know that that person is open to it and they may be able to use that message, that idea, that invention even. How do you think inventions even occur? Many inventors will say that the idea just came to them. Maybe it came to them in a dream, or when they were just sitting there looking at the sky, an idea came to them. And nobody bothers to think, how does that happen? What's really going on? What's going on is the spirit world has always been seeding us with these thoughts, with these ideas, knowing that this information, this message will help, right? Will serve us, will bring in, again, a new idea, a new concept, a new invention that will make life better for all of us. Now, take a breath in. I'd like you to really feel all the love you have for your loved one on the other side. And send that love to them. Really feel that love. Bring it up within you. All the immense love you have for them. And just beam that to them. Feel that love broadcasting out from your heart like this power, this force that you're just sending out. You do this not just because you want to share your love for them with them, but so that as you send that out, their love can come back to you. Because again, what you put out, what you send out, comes back. You want to feel their love? Then feel the love you have for them and send it to them. I know it's easy to think that, well, they know I love them. Yeah, they do. Absolutely. They do. You do this for you as well, so that you can connect with them and share love with them. Just like when they were in a body. Was it really enough for them just to know that you love them? Love is meant to be shared, to be demonstrated, to be exchanged, to be experienced. It's not meant to just be felt within ourselves in isolation. Think about it. Is that really what it is? To just feel love for, I don't know, our children, our parents, partners, friends, and never share it with them? Never express it to them in whatever way we choose, whether it's through actions, whether it's through words of love, whether it's through words of encouragement, of support. Love is both a noun and a verb. So get into experiencing love as the verb that it is. Love is meant to be in action, right? To be shared and then to be received. The purpose of life, according to Alan, that he learned when he crossed over, was to give and receive love. That's it. Your purpose is to give and receive love. And you measure how well you did when you get home to the spirit world by how well you did with that. How often did I give love? How often did I allow myself to receive love? That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that stays with you, as well as what you learned, because you never lose that. Okay. So in the chat, tell me how this went for you, because now we're letting our loved one still be with us, okay? We're not sending them away, unless you want to. Okay. I invite you to be in this blended state with them. See how you do with it. Because again, they're not dead. They don't have to go anywhere unless you made a soul agreement that they would see you on the other side, that you weren't going to connect. But that's usually not the case for people who find their way to our work. That's why I said this is not for everybody. And by the way, all right, I see TA says, I mean, I might be the one who can't do this. Okay. I want to assure you that's the only reason somebody can't do this is if they believe they can't do it. Okay. So please get this idea out of your head, everybody, that, oh yeah, everybody else can do it, but not me. That's impossible. Impossible. You are an aspect of creation. You exist, which means you are worthy, you are valued, you have a purpose for being here, and whatever anyone can do that you feel in resonance with, that you feel drawn to explore, is possible for you, or you wouldn't feel drawn to it. So if you feel drawn to connect with a loved one who's in the spirit world, that means you can do it. Will you do it or not? That's your choice, right? That's where free will comes in. But I would say, based on the hundreds and hundreds of people I work with who are have attempted to connect, okay, the ones who succeed are the ones who persist, right? Who just say, this is for me. I know it's for me. And so they're progressing. It won't happen overnight for most people. There's always an exception, but it usually won't happen overnight because the this world is so dense and the limiting beliefs about the afterlife are so many and so convoluted that that takes a lot of unpacking, a lot of dissolving, right? A lot of breaking through. But you can do it. Donna says, beautiful. I see less clearly. I feel coolness all around me. And he's holding my hands. I feel love all around me. Beautiful. And let's see. Debbie says, I could feel my husband as if I was sitting on his lap with his arms around me, kissing me on the neck. Beautiful. Love it. And Danny says, lovely. I knew Rich was behind me, could feel him around my shoulders and head, could see his strong arms circling me. It brought tears as it usually does. And again, it should make you cry because it's so beautiful. Okay. Now, as we wind this down, and as you read on the screen some of these experiences that people are having, and these are all students of ours, by the way, I want you to understand if you want this connection, you have to get very comfortable with trusting your imagination and understanding that imagination is the connection to the afterlife. Okay. It cannot come through your logical mind because, again, logical mind doesn't believe in the afterlife, so it cannot be the conduit. It can't be the passageway. It just is not, also not psychic. So your psychic awareness is connected to your imagination, which is not fantasy. So you've got to invert that belief and understand that imagination is your power to create your reality and create your connection across the veil. You must get comfortable with trusting what shows up in your mind, okay, out of the blue, or what you hear, again, out of nowhere, and understand that that's the spirit world connecting with you, whether that's your higher self or your loved one or a guide. They're all connecting to you through your higher self. Your higher self is, in a way, the gatekeeper that filters the communication because it knows what's appropriate for you. Nothing that you're not ready for will truly happen for you, okay? Because your higher self is the one running the show. You can work against it, though, and make your life harder than it needs to be because you have free will to do that. But if you start trusting the positive impulses that come out of nowhere, understanding that, wait, that's my guidance, that's my higher self, I'm going to tune into that. I think I'm going to start maybe trusting that, right? That's when your whole life can change because you're not letting your physical mind lead you when it doesn't know how to lead you. So understand that your logical physical mind is 100% non-psychic. It doesn't know what the best next step is for you. Your higher mind is intuitive, has the big picture, is always trying to call you forward and say, over here, come over here, do this thing, check this out, investigate this, right? Come this way. It's always trying to get your attention and trying to lead you, and it does that through your imagination. We have other videos on our channel about imagination. I will put one in the description box below, okay? But look at those and start rewiring your mind about its limiting belief about imagination because you must, and I'm saying this, 100%, you must learn to cherish and embrace and trust your imagination, or you will not be able to do this because things will start happening. And if you don't, believe in it, you're going to basically reject it or dismantle it. So what's the point? Okay, there's no point. And your loved one in spirit may just back away because again, there's no way they're going to force this on you. So belief is required and understanding what imagination really is. It is the hallway, the passageway, the connecting place, okay, where we come together with them. That's imagination. There is no other way to do it. Thanks for watching today. Big thanks and big hugs to our students who all like showed up here. We appreciate you. Folks, please comment, share, and like this so that other people can be helped, so that grief can be canceled, cleared, dismantled, dissolved forever. You don't have to grieve. They're here. You just need to start trusting them and yourself. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.